Hi, this is Mike Kelly of Keller Williams Realty. I'm the host of the Real Estate Hour, heard every Sunday morning, 9 to 10 o'clock on the Voice of Sonoma County, 1350 KSRO Radio. You can hear us on the net at 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time at www.ksro.com or at my blog for the show, which is www.mikesrealestateshow.com. This is the market update for the 2009 spring buying season. What we find right now is a market in transition. We are still a market on sale, as we call it in Sonoma County. This is not a market in recovery by any means. This is a market with still a big for sale sign over the top of the county. And what you want to do is make sure when you look at these stats that you really look at the numbers hard and have a realtor that can analyze these numbers for you. This is for the month of March as far as sales are concerned, but as far as the activity, general activity, you can see that we have decreasing inventory. We are coming off of a 4-month moratorium on what we call REO properties. That stands for real estate owned. Those are properties that are in foreclosure that the bank has taken back, hence the name REO, real estate owned. So currently we have active properties in all categories. We have just over 1,600 active listings in Sonoma County. Of those, we have 1,065 that are in the continue to show status. Now you would think that's a big number. You have 1,600 actives, you have 1,000, over 1,000 in escrow, plus you have another pending of 223. Now what do those two terms mean? Continue to show means they just got into escrow, or they're in escrow and they're working towards removing the contingencies so they can become what we call a pending sale, which is a much more firmer transaction. You can see we only have 223 pending sales or very firm escrows. And for the month of March, we had sales of 417. Median price of $305,000 with an average time in the market about 118 days. Now let's look at the numbers though, because the numbers are the big deal here. Okay, if you look at the sub 300,000 category, that is the sweet point. That is really the hot part of the market right now. Sales are up from last year over 330%. So you can see when people say it's a buyer's market, you got to really look at it and say in what price point, because under 300,000 guys, it's a seller's market. You've got to realize that. Under $500,000, one could argue it's a seller's market. Because if you look at the numbers of those 417 sales, under $500,000 equated to 85% of the total sales for Sonoma County. So you can really see that we're zeroing in, okay, on the lower price points. That's where the activity is. A lot of the investors are buying property now. First-time home buyers are really taking advantage of these super interest rates. I heard today you can get 4.78%. We actually locked clients in on an FHA loan for 5%. So these numbers are pretty spectacular. You need to get involved in this marketplace as soon as you can. To do that, you need to talk to a mortgage broker, get qualified, and then you need to call me and we can get you into a home that you would love to live in. So now if you continue to look at the numbers, you see that the pendings are pretty firm at 223. And that's a pretty healthy market. But if you look at the overall absorption rate in our marketplace, if we have 417 sales for the month of March, we only have inventory about 1,602. So you can see by that we have about a 4-month supply of inventory as a total. Okay, a balanced market is anywhere from 6 to 5 months. So you can see when you get into that 5-month absorption rate, which is figured out simply by taking the active listings, okay, and taking these sales and divide those two, you have about 4 months. That's going to be a pretty darn good, active, healthy market. Some say the whole market is verging on becoming a, strange as it may sound, a seller's market. But you got to keep looking at the numbers. Because if you see that the sales of 414, the vast majority of those, about 80%, were either short sales or they were regular REO properties or foreclosed properties, that doesn't leave too much for the rest of the market, which is, goes from anywhere in Sonoma County from 500,000 up to the stratosphere into the $3.5 to $4 or $5 million properties. Now, once you get over 600,000, then you get into no man's land, and you got to be very careful. If you're a seller and you're selling a property over 600,000 in today's market, you better make sure that that property is absolutely spotless, it is staged, it is priced right, it has the correct incentives for the buyer's agent to show your property. You may want to elevate the brokerage fee as an incentive. We have one agent who's actually giving a new Prius as just an enticement to come sell her multi-million-dollar property. These are the kind of enticements that you as a seller maybe need to consider. Now, it may not be a Prius because it's a multi-million-dollar property, but if you're in a $600,000 to $700,000 price point and you want to get buyers there, you better offer perhaps not just 2.5% of the selling office, and all brokerage fees, are negotiable. You may want to entice that, give them a bonus, send them to Hawaii. I know it sounds kind of funny, but in this marketplace where there's very few buyers over 600,000, you, the seller, need to really offer, all right, the real estate community, okay, an incentive to come see your house and perhaps show it. All right, so you always got to market your property to the buyers, but you also have to market your property to the real estate community. And that's why looking at the numbers and have a realtor that really understands the numbers is essential for you to sell your home. And also, if you're a buyer, buyers, you guys need to know that when you hear all the media say it's a buyer's market, you need to look at what your price point is and then have your realtor analyze these numbers that I mentioned to determine how you will react and how your strategy will be developed when buying a home in Sonoma County. All right? And that's my market update for the 2009 spring buying season. Don't forget to listen to the Real Estate Hour, heard every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., KSRO 1350 here locally here in the North Bay. If you want to go on the internet, we are broadcasting 9 to 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. The website is www.ksro.com, or you can go to my show's blog, mikesrealestateshow.com. That's my blog, mikesrealestateshow.com. I post the latest interest rates as of the closing on Friday. So if you're out looking on the weekend and you need to see what an interest rate is very competitively, we have Mr. Pete Philippi of Prospect Mortgage who supplies that for me each and every Friday. And stay tuned for our upcoming Buyers Fair. That's happening May 2nd. It'll be from 9 to noon at the Finley Center. We'll have more on that later. Thanks for listening to Mike Kelly of Keller Williams.